And welcome to our weekly Icarus Patchnotes. Carl and Echo both gonna be later. Carl gonna be later, Echo probably gonna join in later on, but not sure. So we'll start out alone. This week we're at week 192 and we have the new Arctic survival saddle. Week 192 update gives us the new Arctic survival saddle with extra cold resistance. It comes with 5 inventory and 2 utility slots and some cold resistance for tundra and Arctic expeditions. So this week we're adding a new higher tier saddle specifically for use in the Arctic regions, as well as a few smaller fixes to achievements and Great Hunt content. We also give a preview of requested feature that we have added thanks to feature upvote. So let's jump in and let us have a read, shall we? Couple of notable improvements. Biomore backpack has been fixed, as was granting aura to bosses and enemies as well, and not just to friendlies. I'm not entirely sure anymore what the Biomore backpack, what kind of auras it gave, but yeah, you don't want to give the bosses extra buffs by something you are wearing, so it now only applies these buffs to friendly units, no longer to the enemies or bosses as well. Lowered survival stats on the carbon weave backpack. They were very unbalanced. Yeah, we have seen if you have the carbon weave armor and the carbon weave backpack, basically food and water consumptions dropped to 0. Yeah, very unbalanced. So it's a good thing they actually lower the stats on the backpack. Because that one alone, I believe, was like a 50% reduction in food and water or something. They fixed various achievements, like Kaching, Easy Tiger, Ringleader, etc. A whole bunch of them, which were not being applied correctly on Steam. Fixed issues with mission paths, which were currently locked out in the Great Hunts, allowing all missions to be done and causing issues with the Great Hunt mission flow. This is the one where if you, there were the like mutually exclusive choices you have in the Great Hunt campaigns, where if you chose one path, it locked out the other path. However, you could still start that mission, and yes, I have abused this bug as well on my Garganaton Great Hunts campaign, the Styx one, where I was able to do all 3 mission paths in one open world. This is no longer possible. So now if you do want the other mission path in the Great Hunt campaigns, you will have to start a new open world. Preventing food, water and oxygen consumption from being completely mitigated, the value will always be at least 1. Again, food and water with the carbon weave armor set and backpack. It no longer gets down to 0. You will still be consuming at least a little bit of food and water. It's a good thing, otherwise it's like completely mitigating all survival aspects here. Giving the lava hunter a large fall damage resistance. Apparently there were players who somehow managed to make the lava hunter fall down from a mountain or so, and it took this much damage that it basically killed itself. I have not seen any examples of this. I have read a very little bit about it. But yeah, now you have to proper fight the lava hunter again, which is better. The javelin launcher, the legendary weapon, was not able to fire cold steel javelins. It was a bug. It's now accepted as a viable ammo source. So cold steel spears can now be used as ammo in the javelin launcher. This week's update, Arctic Survival Saddle. So this week we have added a new saddle to the animal bench. It represents a higher tier of saddle that is designed specifically for Arctic travel. It has 5 base inventory slots. So this is before any talents of the mount. Base, it already has 5 slots. 2 additional utility item slots, the heavy slots, and extra cold resistance, making it ideal for quick moving mounts such as the MOA, where the basic saddle only has 2 slots and 1 utility slot. So this is going to be very helpful indeed. You can now use your MOA to carry like a radar and 2 extractors. I mean, 1 on your own back and 2 in the MOA saddle. A radar and 2 extractors if you want to go exotics hunting, for example. This saddle aims to add higher tier equipment for mounts that help them both in terms of their survival and utility in late game scenarios. The Arctic Survival Saddle requires platinum weave, wool and rope to craft, meaning you must bring down a sheep from orbit to gain access to wool. So you want to make use of this saddle? Sure, you'll have to get yourself a sheep from orbit. Next week, armor stand quality of life improvements. Next week we have a quality of life improvement with the armor stand coming. And we are adding a customization option to prevent backpacks from being swapped when swapping gear on the armor stand. If you have an armor on your stand and it does not have a backpack but you have one, if you quick swap your armor, it puts the backpack on the armor stand. It's a bit annoying sometimes. So they are gonna add an option to like, hey, I reckon like exclude backpack from swap or something. I think it's a very nice quality of life improvement. If you have a 12 slot backpack, the Lark Tino's tactical backpack, you have your inventory filled up. And then you swap your armor and then all of a sudden you're no longer wearing the backpack. There's 12 inventory slots gone. And you might be dropping items on the floor. This is gonna prevent that. I like this quality of life update. Now, your support makes these updates possible. If you do wanna, if you enjoy the game and you do wanna support the devs, feel free to buy some of the DLCs there. The Great Hunts bundle actually includes the Great Hunts and Styx and Prometheus. So you can like do all 3 the missions, all 3 the campaigns I should say, for 1 runs on Olympus, 1 on Styx and 1 on Prometheus. So if you want to get full use of the Great Hunts DLC, you should have Styx and Prometheus as well. Or, for example, just go for the complete set, which is basically give you everything you don't have yet, including Outposts. Outposts is basically Icarus Light, you know, resource respawning, smaller map, less severe weather, less severe predators. You can't do exotics hunts there, but it's nice and serene almost, especially if you want to do a lot of building. Outpost is nice for that. Or you want to dip your toes in the game without running too much risks. Outpost is fine. But yeah, the complete the set bundle basically looks at what don't you have yet, and that's what I'm gonna add. Let's continue with the new content, basically unlocking and enabling the Arctic Survival Saddle, the new saddle. Fixes. Let's quickly go through them. Hammerhead Slug removed ability to stealth crit the boss and doing massive amounts of damage. Good. Field guide should no longer include hidden items in a processor list for recipes. It's not to give you hey, I want to use this, but I can't because it's not a valid recipe yet, something like that. Let's see. Scars of offsetting the mesh after playing, etc. Increase the resolution of electric fireplace so the windows are cut out, making it look nicer. Added variant assets for the stone fireplace to bring it in line visually with stone buildables. Oh, cool. So next time you use a stone fireplace, press R and check the radial for variants. Nice. The Biomore backpack, medic backpack, we already talked about this. The aura is no longer granted to all NPCs in range, only to friendly ones. The heal device, medical scanner, the text is now translatable. Always good. Fix a problem with multiple aura instances affecting a single actor. Is it the one where you have sometimes like the two warm and cozy buffs, for example? Possibly. Fix an issue where specific deployables that spawn other deployables, like the fishing bench and the bunk bed, they're spawning the other deployable and then reseating its foundation actor to null, resetting. So in the fishing bench's case, it never deleted the filleting station. I've done this in my Styx base, where the filleting station is still upstairs next to the kitchen. But the fishing bench itself I took out and it left the filleting station behind. They fixed that now. Kind of a pity, because it was fun. But hey, it shouldn't be like that, so. Adjusting wind settings for both the coconut palm and the sugar cane. Okay. So, one of the achievements being fixed. Cold steel javelin to fill out ammo types for the javelin launcher. We talked about that. A couple of accolades or achievements fixed. More fixes. Kinetic rifle playing incorrect bullet eject sound. Yeah, I haven't used that one yet. I should do. Added metal bullet drop instead of just a shotgun shell. I should get me one of those just to check. Again, the Biomore backpack, NPCs and bosses talked about this. Fixed visit slug, then axe. Using busted material, create new bespoke material. This must be in a rhyme test campaign then. I have one mission we either haven't done yet or is in a in the branch we have not chosen. More achievement fixes. Change weather cards back to have text. Good. Lower the survival stats from the carbon weave backpack. We talked about that, as well as this one. Fixing issue where the boss information was not correctly displayed in the world with the Norse boss upgrade module when slotted into the contact device, which is basically just a boss tracker, kind of the same as the attachment you have for your helmet. There was initially an issue where it showed the time since the last kill and not the time until the respawn. Give the lava hunter large fall damage. Talked about that. The Great Hunt's missions is now properly logging out the paths you have not chosen. Talked about that. Accolade trackers to use new Steam stats to fix the Steam achievements. Same here, achievement fixes, more achievement fixes. And let's have a look at some future content. Added enough blockers to areas of Ice Mammoth Arena, was likely to get stuck. I would say future content. This is like the Ruimtusk final arena. More mention about the new slinker animal. Some sliding feet. No longer moonwalking. Good. Looking better. Fix a bug where slinker was walking with his right side on tippy toes. Yeah, doesn't look good. So glad I fixed that. Let's see. Fixed dynamic movement of bounder ears. This is gonna be a new animal. As well as G for settings for the corpse. Possibly a new animal, bounder. First time I think it's mentioned. I don't recall it being mentioned before. Outpost 12, I reckon this is gonna be the new map. Added pumpkin and watermelon, so they will be there again as well. Good. Adding raptor spot duplicates of animation montages. Possibly a new animal, raptor, a fast predator. Gonna be nice. Exotic uranium nodes are now radioactive, as they should be. It is uranium after all. Exotic uranium nodes. It looks like it's gonna be an extractable resource like the purple and to an extent red exotics. Quick pass on radiation protection armor, adding in radiation protection stats. Good. Adding radioactive waste as a byproduct of uranium conversion. I wonder what we're gonna have to do with this radioactive waste. Hey Carl, welcome. How you doing?
Good, I can hear you have a new mic.
Yeah, I got myself a new headset. The other one I gave the static when I was,
Yeah,
and also not always like enabling the microphone again proper.
yep, I'm well aware. So you're on 192 patch notes, approximately how far down?
A bit into the future content.
Perfect.
Search for radioactive waste.
Will do.
Going to be a byproduct of uranium conversion, where you have like the raw uranium turn into uranium rods, which you can, I reckon, use for power generation. So we will have
Correct.
radioactive waste.
Which is interesting because, yes, that's a good question what you would actually use it for. Because, as far as I know, you don't really have a use for it per se. It's usually just something you have to get rid of. So maybe we start doing what humans do, which is build big things and stuff a whole bunch of toxic radiation waste in there, which gradually leaks out and
Yeah.
pollutes the environment,
Well,
including the water supply.
we have seen in last week's patch notes, even when you drop this stuff on the ground, it is still going to be radioactive. Not like
Correct.
miasmic. If you drop it on the ground, you no longer take damage. No, radioactive stuff will still be giving radioactive.
It'd
So
actually be quite interesting if it could contaminate water sources and stuff like that, because people would just, chuck them into a barrel and then throw it into the water, and then eventually it'll be
yeah,
like, yep, this water is no longer consumable at all, regardless of what you do. You'll
yeah.
take some radiation damage, basically. It'll basically turn it into like a Fallout universe, but
And
we'll see.
maybe we have to build some radioactive waste disposal management system where you shoot it into the sun, something like that. I don't
Yeah,
know.
you could send, we can send it all back to the orbital station and have them deal with it.
Yeah, we'll be getting an extra sun in the night sky.
Yeah, exactly. Makes sense.
So removed decay from radioactive items, so they stay radioactive. There are a lot of radiation stuff going on here. Adding anti-radiation transfusion item, which slowly heals radiation exposure for 5 minutes.
Yeah, I think they're trying to probably play a little bit of a like you probably haven't played Fallout, but on Fallout
No.
Universe you have obviously radiation or rads, which you have
Mhm.
to
Mhm.
you sort of build up eating contaminated foods or being exposed to radioactive waste, which basically fills your health bar with a non-usable health bar, if you know what I mean. So it's
Yeah.
like your health bar is 100, but it's marked down to 70%. It's still 100, but it's only 70% is useful. The rest of the
Yeah.
30% becomes radioactive. So
Yeah.
as it goes down, as you get more and more exposed, your health pool is forced less regardless of what you do until you clean the rads that will free up your health pool again, which you then consume to basically regenerate it. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Maybe this is going to be the same
it
amount,
should be.
it's the same
Same system.
method.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, it should be.
So we have the transfusion item slowly heals over time. You have the injection item, a workshop item, which will instantly heal a small portion, not all, small portion of radiation exposure.
Yeah, that would be a rad cleanser, or what was it called now for what
Hmm.
universe? Stim pack, I think it was called a rad stim. No, that's actually not for the radiation. Right away is the getting rid of it. So yeah.
Yeah, Stempex was for energy, I believe.
No, stim pack was for health, but you
Or
couldn't
else.
heal
Yeah.
unless you got rid of the rad. So that
Yeah.
would be rad away would be the default thing, or like beverages. But yeah, it should be about that system.
So we get some radiation tolerance, radiation resistance, attacks cause radiation burn, so some radioactive animals. Cool.
And I recall way back when we obviously wanted to have vehicles on the planet, and obviously
Uh-huh.
they introduced mounts,
Uh-huh.
which sort of makes things nice. However, with a nuclear power source, a type of mechanical fuel rod system, one might, you know,
The reason they did
gain
not go
another
for
advantage.
vehicles was because the terrain was unsuited for it, especially forests.
Yes, but we can get a six-legged spider mechanical mech that can just go running through the underbrush like a cool Gundam. I don't know. That's you know you could consider something like that. I mean, realistically, if we currently are powering our bases using solar and wind and everything like that, I mean, why build a nuclear reactor unless we're going to have something that
Some massive
consumes
power consumers. Yeah.
considerable, exactly, yeah, unless we have something that consumes considerable amounts of energy, which would have to be something of purpose.
Or
So
we gonna be under constant cloud cover, so you can't use solar panels, but then there would still be wind and water wheels.
exactly,
So yeah.
yeah, exactly. So I mean, it's there would have to usually be a reason for something. I mean, it's a
Yeah.
cool factor, but usually, like if you were to upgrade to a nuclear reactor, your usage, and obviously, if people been running on like a solar farm with like 1,000, solar panels, obviously to condense that down to a nuclear reactor, for example, would be useful. But if you actually have a draw of like 100,000 power energy grid in your base, which is theoretically possible. I have no idea how big your previous base got to, the one that we created the edits on. Then yeah, I mean,
I had a decent amount of of power consumers there. Still, a handful of
yeah,
solar panels was enough to power it.
yeah. So, but yet again, I mean, we're not here to discuss that. But
Exactly.
yes, I would assume foods to sort of get rid of it. Items like concoction workshop items, definitely.
I don't know.
And did I say any? Yeah, radiation resistance. So they have
Yeah.
rad X, the variants of rad X's,
So
which is to
radiation tolerance
yeah, and resistance
and
definitely as well.
resistance.
Yeah.
So just the radiation accumulation calculation. So yeah, you are gonna accumulate radiation over time to include the resistance factor.
Yep.
Adjust the max radiation value to take into account the radiation tolerance.
Yeah.
Gonna be a
If you
lot
get
of.
100%, you die usually. That's the way it works.
Oh, sure, can do. Adjusted radiation accumulation modifier, so partial units can be kept and stored and accumulated, so don't lose data if there's a high resistance.
Hmm.
Maybe we get like modules for
Yep.
radiation resistance as well.
Probably like if they're doing it because they want a whole new part of the planet which might be radioactive, which was because they used the wrong missile when they tried to terraform the planet. Rather than sending down something to terraform it, they nuked it first. I have no idea. But you could have rad suits or like you said, modules to reduce
Yeah.
the resistance, or actual food consumptions like pills and tablets, which would increase your rad resistance. But the whole point there is that usually you would only really go full out, really high and rad aways and rad resistances and like enviro hazard suits or hazmat suits when you had a completely contaminated area like the crater, which you had to go to in order to complete certain missions and do stuff
Mm.
like that, very much like the null sector. So, but then instead of having, oh, I'm thirsty, oh, I'm hungry, it's I am burning to death because of radiation and I can't stay here unless I eat these tablets constantly. So then it becomes a major pain. And especially because the creatures are then also radioactive and stronger
Hey,
than
it
humans.
will give extra dimension to the gameplay. I like the
Yeah,
idea.
it definitely would, but it would also introduce radiation storms, for example. So then you would actually want possibly to have the concrete base because concrete is used to shelter radiation. So therefore,
Yeah,
you
if you have
know,
like a 3 meter or a thick wall or a
yes,
5 meter
yes.
thick wall, I know.
Maybe we could start stacking concrete walls on top of each other to make bigger bases. Who
Yeah.
knows? But you know, really, or maybe they would start introducing that you could sort of build bunkers underground. So you have a cool little hatch, and you can build your base underground, so that you don't build.
Interesting
You
approach.
basically have
Yeah.
like an under like bunker kind of thing, which is pretty
But
simple.
if the entire environment is radioactive, wouldn't that mean that if you go underground, there will still
No,
be radiation?
not really. No, I think, like I said, after enough, like you just said, after a certain amount of thickness, it doesn't pan
Yeah,
out
but
anymore.
where is the radiation coming from?
Your doors
If
would
if
be
it is
like built.
indigenous,
Oh yeah, yeah. Might come from the earth. Agreed. Yes. So the
exactly.
ground itself is radioactive. Yes, but if it's actually because of the fallout of a weapon used on a
Then
planet,
yeah,
for example,
then
then
digging
it might be
underground would
different.
be a thing, and like go into
Yeah.
a cave and such things like that.
Exactly, and to be honest, if the planet was radioactive because of either solar exposure or actual, you know, tectonic like activity, then we would have already been irradiated to hell and back. Whilst playing the game itself, I don't
Unless
think
we
it
were
would
in a
be
very stable location,
area.
like in the
Or like,
middle
yeah,
of a
maybe other
plate or
tectonic
something,
plates. Yes, it
tectonic
is
plate.
possible. Maybe
Yeah,
the plates on this side is more stable, and on another part of the, you know, Icarus, it's a little bit more so,
yeah,
but or less so. But yeah, I mean, it's an interesting system that they're toying with,
yeah.
and there is content to be had related to
Oh,
it.
definitely.
But usually, you would need to have a solid foundation for introducing it, at least in my opinion. Just having it for the fact that there's a new mechanic to be in the game doesn't really, you know, work for me personally speaking. That's it.
We'll see what this entail. I assume this is going to be part of Elysium,
True, indeed.
so we will see in time. Anyway, radiation accumulation at a base will take approximately 5 minutes to progress from 0 to 100%, and it will
Yeah.
have 3 different stages as well.
Yep, that sounds about right. Now, 5 minutes is really, I mean, that's like
That's
just standing
that's that's
still. It
quick.
depends also, and the thing is here is that it also depends on, now, in most games, you don't just have a radiation on and a radiation off. Obviously, radiation is on different intensity scales, so depending on how close or how far you are from a
Also, yeah,
source of radiation would determine how intense the generation is.
yeah.
So if you're standing or
Again,
sitting on
again
top of a lump of
depends
uranium,
depends on
so
what the
yeah,
source of the radiation is.
exactly. But
If
if
it's
you're sitting,
indigenous, environmental, then
then
it's
it could
like
be
the
quite.
same everywhere. No.
Yeah, true. Yeah, but that's the thing. But then we obviously know that, I mean, it would be one thing that I'm not, because they did have in the calculation like a resistance and a tolerance, but
Yeah,
not so much an intensity factor scale. So
true,
if
true.
it is an on-off kind of flip switch, then yes, 5 minutes is, you know, only 300 seconds. So
Yep.
realistically, that is quite intense, so to say.
Well, at least you start with a base radiation tolerance of 1K. Now, obviously, this is a number. Without reference, you can't say anything about it, but you do start
Yeah.
with at least some radiation tolerance. So you don't instantly die the moment you step out of your drop pod.
Yes, it might be like a decaying effect on an envirosuit or something where we gradually degrade the radioactive resistance of certain
Yeah,
items, but and then you would have to have it scrubbed planet side or station side or something like that.
yeah,
That,
I
you
don't
know,
know.
might be something. It's very difficult to speculate
Yeah.
on this specific thing.
But there is a lot of possible things going on with the whole radiation.
Yep, it's a whole separate mechanic.
Oh
So,
yeah,
I mean, you know, like we said, from creatures to reactors to foods to stims to medkits to, you know, the environmental storms to base building to, you know, the items. You can even have weapons that shoot radioactive bullets, perhaps. you know, I mean, they experimented with the what's the bullet that didn't
Enzymes.
really work, the one
Enzyme.
that you shot me with, yeah, the one that sort
Enzyme.
of
Yeah,
stops
I
any
think you
contamination.
have to shoot animals with it. And like,
Yeah.
it gives you as a player some stats when you shoot an animal with it.
Oh, oh, okay. But yeah, so yeah, moving on, we have a stone fireplace of some sort.
Yeah,
So
we have the standard stone fireplace. We're gonna add variations in. It was mentioned in earlier, like, hey, we're gonna give you variants.
variants are good. Does allow for different customization for aesthetic purposes. I still want them to have double cooking queues, but that's besides the point.
Truffle images for items, seed packet and seed. Seed packets means you can at least get them from the workshop.
Yep.
Not sure whether or not you will be able to find them planet side though. But
It should be quite scarce. Truffles are not a common shroom. I think it is considered a mushroom.
it is a
So
mushroom, yeah. Garlic and onion, agave. Let's see. Scent variants. Dat is die. Scent variant. Was that for armor or was that for building? I don't know anymore. Been
they did
mentioned.
mention that one curtain thing, if I remember correctly. It was like a sand curtain or something, and they were like, "What is that? Is that like a waterfall? Is it
Okay.
is it an item which you would wear?" We had
So
no idea what
then,
it was referring to.
yeah. So then it
So
might be building pieces then. Okay.
yeah,
Yeah, adding radiation survival variables. 3 levels of radiation debuffs
yeah.
that are
Nice.
re-triggered by survival triggers.
Do they say what it does?
Nope, debuffs.
Yeah, usually it'll be like health regeneration, so it's very similar to what you had when you got bitten by the
But the
exotic
exotic
infused animal.
infused, yeah,
Yeah,
I reckon.
so it might be something like that, but usually it will be like, yeah, your health regeneration is slower. You can't your
Stamina
food buffs, for
reaching,
example.
yeah,
Your food
food
buffs will last
bursts,
half as long.
yeah.
Would probably be a thing, or not be as effective, for example. And then
Stamina regen
yeah,
is down the drain, that sort
yeah,
of thing. Yep.
probably up until the point that you're crippled in like layer 3 or something.
Yeah.
Or sometimes, actually, sometimes, depending on perks, like I'm not sure, like talent points, it might be that whilst you're irradiated, you actually gain certain buffs because of it. But that's like,
New
not,
talents in the new DLC, huh?
yeah.
That's an
So,
interesting approach, yeah.
usually
Like
be sort
new
of,
talents catered to new environments, which
yep,
includes radiation.
which makes sense. I
Ah,
mean, you've got like the single player talent tree, and they're, what, how did they, was there like a talent tree for the Great Hunt in the end?
no.
Because I recall something to that effect.
No, you get extra talent points when you finish a Great Hunt's campaign.
Didn't they say something, or wasn't there a mention at some point about some sort of specific thing to it? And if not, then
Not
I don't know.
talents. However, what in the game is called blueprints, in the patch notes it is called talents.
Oh,
But it's
okay,
actually
that makes
blueprints.
sense. Okay.
Okay, let's see. More radiation stuff.
Yeah.
Radiated, mentioned a couple of times ago. Bounder implementation. New animal, Bounder.
Orca. Well, yeah, bounder. Okay,
Uh,
interesting.
Adding orca footsteps, so that is gonna be a land animal.
Footsteps. Yes, orcas don't have feet,
Well,
so
this is Icarus.
uh, like a big whale thing running on the planet of like the facade of an orca would be quite terrifying.
So there have been images about this quite large monster with this massive head and like big paws, and there is one in one on one of the laptop variants as well. If you look closely, that might be orca. I don't know.
I haven't seen any pictures,
Nope.
so
And we get a new animal, tundra deer.
nice. Good food.
Let's see. Fixed attack range and attacks playing too slow to hit a moving player. That's some slow attack then. Okay.
Okay. Could also be desync issues. I mean, currently,
True.
model sync issues is a problem realistically in the game that does need to be addressed. But
Hmm.
obviously, they mentioned that's because we're running on a server, hosted server. So
Yeah, I'm not gonna host it locally because then you might
no,
have
no, no,
better FPS,
no,
but
no,
I
no,
would
no.
be playing a slideshow. No, thank
No,
you.
no, 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 but that's not the point. So it's just, like I said, they just need to change certain things to client side and sending up updates. It's not that big of a deal. But yes, Tundra Deer,
Sandworm
Jones.
Queen is being mentioned again.
Ooh, nice. Sandworm Queen, so big, big worm. Okay.
Yeah, say like dragon-ish. If I see a worm with a Y, I
Oh, worm.
immediately
Yeah,
think dragon.
I see it. Yeah, it's a dragon subspecies, not a real dragon. It is an inferior version, and usually you do get a ground worm, which is like a rock worm, basically. So it is under subterranean dwelling creature which consumes gems and basically burrows in the ground. So yes, it does make sense.
Raptor. Are we gonna get a nice new
Dinosaurs is interesting.
fast and lethal predator? Cool.
Yeah, that sounds interesting.
Let's see.
Some big billboards, more audio things for the Raptor.
Uh,
Tesla coils, yet again, related to like nuclear thingies and fancy
and nice
uses.
defense. Red Alert 2. Tesla.
Yeah, yeah,
Tesla towers.
could
Tesla
be.
coil.
Yeah, could be. Yeah,
Good
could be.
base defense.
Yeah, could be.
Or
Just wondering
wireless
the.
power transmission, maybe, to
Yeah,
an
that's
extent.
also what I'm wondering. Yeah, now yet again, yeah. So that's also true. Depends. Could
So
also.
Outpost 12. Coastal atmosphere.
You know what? That would
Is
actually probably make a reason to make a reactor. Is if you powered everything through Tesla coils, you wouldn't actually need the electric
electric tool.
cabling tool.
Yeah.
Yeah, that everything would just be switched on, bang. Obviously, you would be being roasted alive because
Don't walk
just
between two towers.
yes, it's like, but
But
yeah.
if you need this for defense, then how dangerous is the planet gonna be?
Well, I mean, currently we've got like sentries and stuff like that already.
Yeah.
But yes, for Tesla coils and stuff, I haven't really seen any other modules. If it's just the Tesla coil, it could also be used for like shield generation or some sort, where it's
True,
like, oh
but
yeah, the
again,
reaction thing, you would have to kind of bubble something off.
but again, if you need that much defense, how dangerous is the planet gonna be?
Well, it'll be hostile, but not so much because dangerous. It's like, imagining us going to the, to the volcanic lands in Valheim. So it's like, yeah, you have to have shield generators because there's things outside and
Yeah,
to try and
yeah,
get
but
inside, as well as the fact that,
you have the
the
same in
environment.
the meadows. But they're
Yeah,
so low level, you hardly notice them anymore.
yeah. But yeah, it is what it is. And
I don't I won't mind if it's gonna be a dangerous environment though. That's for
yeah,
sure.
true. I mean, the only thing there is that, yeah, you do end up, if you're having DLCs or content that is constantly, expanded upon, which is what the purpose of them are, and then obviously, newer players don't really join up for the content. They join up because they have to sort of get through the
Start
old.
working on the base game. I mean, you need a base game
Yeah,
anyway. So
no, correct. I know that, but it's just like usually people see, oh, that's a shiny, cool thing. I want that because it's cool and I like this. And then it's like, no, you can't have that until you do X, Y, Z.
yeah.
But some
I
people do
mean,
like
yeah,
that.
if
But
they start out with the most dangerous one and then start complaining it's too hard, yeah, hey, then
exactly.
go
Well,
to the base game first. Not
well,
everyone is as stupid as us, like new
yeah. Oh,
character or straight into a new environment, like no boost, no workshop, no nothing.
yeah, but I mean, some people will complain. But regardless, it'll
True,
be interesting
true.
to see what they sort of plan. But I
Yeah.
don't see anything else realistically.
Well, the armor stand backpack toggle and swap button. So they gonna and this is gonna come next week. Where you can tell the armor stand to either swap your backpack or not. Remember, if you have a backpack, you have an armor stand with an armor without backpack, and you quick swap, it puts your backpack on the armor stand. That is going to be a toggle now. you can disable that function. So you have a backpack on your back. The armor stand does not have a backpack. You can quick swap and your backpack stays on your character. Very, very nice quality of life improvement on the armor stand.
Yep.
And yeah, that's basically the patch notes. Again, a nice and quick one this week. So what we're gonna do is what, take 15?
I'm ready to go, so yes.
And then we will be back with some gameplay. Now, Eka said maybe she's gonna come in later. I don't know, so I reckon we will be. If she's not in within 15 minutes, we'll do the Styx one. If she is in, we can continue Rhyme Tusk on Prometheus.
Sounds good.
Okay, I'm gonna do a stream outro and I'll be back with you in a sec. So those were the patch notes. Like I said, we're gonna stop it here and we'll be back in 15 minutes with additional gameplay. I hope you folks enjoyed watching us go through the patch notes. We do this every Friday night. If you did enjoy and you want to get notified next time I stream, feel free to hit that follow button, or if you watch this on YouTube and want to get notified next time I upload something, feel free to hit that subscribe button. Other than that, thanks for being here. I really appreciate it. I hope you had a good time and I hope I'll see you folks around.